Monday, happy Labor Day, everyone. Well, hopefully we're not laboring too hard today. It's your day off. It's a holiday. It's a vacation day. Maybe you had a nice, long, extended weekend, and here we are on the Monday, right? So before we dive into our house Mondays, I want to give Cova a shout out, my sponsor, the ultimate protection plan for gig workers. Doesn't matter what gig worker company you're with, whether you Uber, Lyft, Postmates, Grubhub, Amazon Flex, and Shipped, DoorDash, you name it. You're protected under this plan, right? If you get into a collision and your car's in for repairs, you're getting 80% of your money paid. If you end up in hospital because of an accident, right? This is not a health insurance or anything like that, but it's a protection plan. It covers 80% of your salary. If they decide to deactivate you for whatever reason, right? It's happened to 4.985.0 drivers. It kicks in, Cova kicks in, and you have 80% of your monies covered. Very important. So, shout out, we have David Overdia in the house. Welcome. Hopefully you're staying safe. Hopefully you're doing well. What are you guys doing this Labor Day? Right? What are you up to? Are you out and about? Are you working? Are you just staying indoors with your family? Are you going down to the beach? Are you going to have a barbecue? Whatever you do, please stay safe. I've got Rick Nelson in the house. Rick, thank you for all those wonderful links you sent me. Cressy's in the house. Alfredo Rosales is in the house. PKI officers in the house. Techie B's in the house. Good morning. Welcome. So David, I like it. Barbecue. What's on that barbecue? Maybe some spare ribs. I'll be right over. Nice T-bone steak. Barbecue is also big in South Africa. No, not so big in Europe, really. Lived in Europe for 17 years, but South Africa barbecues are big. In the United States, people love their barbecues. Everybody has a barbecue in their back garden, so enjoy it. Tomahawk steaks. Oh my God, you're killing me, dude. Well, you got to treat yourself. So you deserve a tomahawk steak. Ribeye, Monday Social Incorporated says ribeye. I love it. Guys are all taking care of yourself and, treating yourself to something nice. I like that, right? So as we here in California, I don't know how many California drivers there are in the house, right? But man, things are heating up. Things are heating up before this Proposition 22. It's really heating up. I have never seen a battle going on between drivers as I have on Prop 21. People literally beating each other up social media wise. Some say yes on 2022. Others are shouting no on 22. But definitely a battle going on out there on social media about Proposition 22. Rick Nelson says, online with Uber coming back from Roland Heights where ashes are falling. Yeah, I've seen ashes sprinkle here as well. Skies are orange. Rather freaky waking up and seeing the sky orange, right? I guess the winds are carrying all, might be southern wind bringing down all the northern smoke, or it might be all these new fires. But California is raging on fires. Not good. So what are we gonna do on this Monday, everyone? Now, the one thing I wanted to share with you here, Lyft and Uber are pouring another 70 million, right, on top of their $110 million. 70. I mean, this is how scared they are, right? So they put in $110 million. They pour in a further $70 million into this yes on 22. Gig companies have poured 70 million more into their ballot campaign to keep drivers and couriers as independent contractors, bringing the total funds for yes on 22 to a breathtaking $181 million. That's what they're spending on it. Now, I like it when the people say keeping the driver and couriers as independent contractors. I wish that people were true independent contractors. And I want to tell you something, and I don't want to scare you, but right now in California, people are making some decent money thanks to the multiplier, which was brought out to counter AB5. So only because of the AB5 do we have the multiplier, right? That is their answer. The multiplier is the answer to AB5. They were using this as a legal argument. So people now are making good money. I mean, I had a guy send me a screenshot. He made $3,500 in the week. Multiple high multipliers. That's awesome. And I'm very happy for that driver. But understand this. Come November, you can kiss your multiplier goodbye, right? Because once they have that yes on 22 in the bag, you can kiss that multiplier goodbye. Really. Then I hope this guy is doing better. Long road to recovery for Uber driver after drive-by shooting. This is sad. I mean, Rick Nelson sent me this article in Chicago. More than 3 weeks after he was shot while driving an Uber in Chicago, 56-year-old Tim Raw is still recovering in the hospital. Raw was driving through the Brighton Park neighborhood in the city's southwest side during early morning hours of August 12th when police said 3 suspects wearing black hoodies fired at his car from a white Acura SUV. I guess he had dropped off an Uber Eats delivery. It's an Uber Eats driver, right? Sad. Noah Amrani, how are you? Monday says 5X all day this weekend. I love it. Make money, dude. I guess he had dropped off an Uber Eats delivery and was driving down the street. He came upon a cell phone store and saw figures inside. His wife said, I think people shot him from the store and a getaway car. That's horrible. Afterwards, she said a witness called 911 and Tim was rushed to Mount Sinai Hospital in critical condition. The bullet entered through his back, went through his left lung, up through his neck. Jeez, like. Hit his sinus and is lodged in his brain. Oh my God, just shot into the back, went through the lung, up his neck, into the sinus, lodged in the brain. I mean, look at that trajectory, huh? Jeez, horrible, horrible news. Doesn't seem real to me. Nothing seems real to me right now, she said. Doctors said it was too dangerous to remove the bullet, and he was just discharged on August the 27th, but leaking cerebral spinal fluid from his nose and was admitted to the hospital where he's now awaiting surgery to repair the damage to his sinus cavity. He's going to be hospitalized at least a month with 2 major surgeries. So then down the road, months of physical therapy, follow-up visits, we don't know what that will add up to. While it has been difficult, Laurie said there have been reasons to hope. A family can set up a GoFundMe page to help the family with medical bills. This event has made me see the worst in humanity, but also the best in humanity. I'm very touched by the outpouring of support and generosity. Well, Mrs. Raw, if you're listening in, please do share the GoFundMe page with us so we can raise money for this individual. Please, I'd love to make a video for you and then push this GoFundMe page. It's just horrible. He's out there doing Uber Eats deliveries and then is shot in the back, right, by coward people who are cowards in masks with a getaway car. Horrible, 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 horrible news. Horrible news. Now, a guy that I wanted to give a shout out to, and this is an older story, but really got to know him over the last few weeks. I was reading up more about him. Sure you guys have heard about him. Dan, the driver man, right? This is a crazy story, right? Again, involves guns, crazy people. But I think what saved him here at the end of the day is that he had an electric vehicle. The story is too funny, and I'm sure you guys know it. I only got the story recently and started reading up about it after a lot of interaction with Dan, the driver man. Apparently, there are also quite a few rap battles out there about Dan. This guy is quite a legend on the road, and we've been texting back and forth. I mean, this guy is a true citizen, even drove a veteran, Purple Heart veteran, like 500 miles just to get to a hospital. So this one here, he's from St. Louis. I don't know how to pronounce that there. St. Louis, I guess. Man believes he may be one of the first victims of an attempted carjacking involving an electric vehicle. Fortunately, it seems the type of car may have prevented thieves from getting what they were after. The victim, who goes by the name Dan, the driving man, said he thought his life was coming to an end the weekend of May the 19th. Yes, it's a couple of months ago. He was recharging his electric vehicle at a station in the 3100 block of South Grand. Now, the one thing that I found interesting that Dan shared with me, that his per mile cost, Jimmy, how are you? Because of the electric vehicle, because he recharges the battery. I mean, he's right down to, he's got it down to a science, right? About, correct me if I'm wrong, but he said about 10 cents per mile. Those are his costs, right? He gets free charges, and then obviously maybe the wear and tear. That's how he gets to this 10 cents per mile factor. Dan said he uses that station because it can charge his vehicle in 30 minutes as opposed to 4 to 6 hours at his home. A female put a gun to my head, and another one over here, and a man coming in on the right. I had 3 guns pointed at me. Wow. They said, give us your car and your money or we'll shoot you. Dan, who works as a ride-share driver, gave the suspects $40 and his cell phone, but he said they failed to steal his electric car. The story is too funny. I mean, it's not funny that he had the gun against him, but what happens here just shows you how stupid some people are. These people that try to steal his vehicle had no idea what they were stealing, namely an electric vehicle. At first, the 3 suspects tried to drive away while the vehicle was still plugged in. The car will not leave or go anywhere until it's unplugged, Dan said. Okay, so step number 1. Hey, guys are trying to steal my car. You got to unplug the car. Then the car wouldn't start because Dan kept his key fob on him. So he had his key fob on him. When I step back, the car won't go without me, he said. The woman jumped into the driver's seat and she couldn't get it moving. She's panicking because she can't find the key. I said, it doesn't have a key. It's a smart car. Finally, he said the suspect made him drive. But that didn't work because the car wasn't charged. Right? So all the factors were lining up in his favor. Finally, he said the suspects made him drive, but the car wouldn't work because the car wasn't charged. So the suspects ultimately fled on foot. So when they decided, hey, we can't steal this car, we got his $40, we got his cell phone, we're going to bail. Dan's friend, Wendell Phillips Berwick, said Dan is a good person, a giver. He has given himself for 20 years, given the homeless free rides all over St. Louis, Berwick said. Dan's goodness was obvious in his message for the 3 suspects. Turn yourself in, I forgive you. Sometimes you have to deal with the consequences that we suffer as the result of bad choices, but we can come back from that. That's what I love about the guy, right? Just his constant giving, taking care of these homeless riders, right? Even a nice message for the people that, had the gun against. He said, turn yourself in, I forgive you. Police don't have any suspects in the robbery. Dan said he can laugh about the suspect's failed attempt now, but at the time he feared for his life would come to an end. Absolutely. I mean, you got 3 guns pointed at your head. That ain't funny. So in the UK, we're going to jump across to the UK. Uber launches car rentals in the UK for maximum social distancing. They tried that out in the United States. It worked well. They are now, they also did this in the trials in Australia and France. So now they are rolling out the program in the UK. Uber announced today that it will soon allow users in the UK to rent cars via its app in a partnership with car rental company Car Trawler. Users will be able to select the new Uber rent option within the app and then browse available cars for their chosen date and location. Rental cars can then be picked up from the hundreds of car hire company pickup locations. The UK launch follows trials in France and Australia. The process works a little differently from Uber's bike or scooter rentals, although Uber says you're technically able to make your booking at the same time as you pick up the vehicle as you would when renting one of its jump bikes in the UK. It encourages you to make car reservations at least 24 hours in advance. Rentals can be cancelled up to 48 hours ahead of collection, and Uber is promising discounts on rentals of up to 25%. So it's basically a classic car rental, like an Enterprise or like a, Six Budget or Avis or whatever they call themselves. But here you initiate the rental through the app, something that they could have rolled out years ago. I mean, they already had all the clientele, they had all the riders. I don't know why they didn't create multiple partnerships in multiple companies a long time ago. Covered this story. This was a funny one. Vegas 888. Could Uber and Lyft leave California if they and drivers can't find a happy medium with yes and no vote? Your thoughts? And I'm going to answer that right after this one, right? So I got a little bit startled when I read this headline. It said the Uber for lawn care national app launches in Madison. I thought that Uber was getting into lawn care. I'm like, WTF, what are they doing now? They're getting into lawn care? No, this is a lawn, they're calling themselves the Uber of lawn care. Just as a quick 5-second shout out, they are called GreenPal, and it launched in Madison on August the 21st. GreenPal, right? So we have been described as the Uber for lawn care. GreenPal co-founder Gene Caballero said. So we gave you a bit of a shout out. Now, let's get to this November issue, right? Let's answer Vegas 888. And then we have Alliance Drivers Unite. Edward in the house. Happy Labor Day, my friend. An amazing warrior. Go and subscribe to him there, Alliance. You see it there. You vote. And a majority of those aren't even on app seeing 22 propaganda due to COVID. Now, the one thing that I worry about is Alliance is the amount of TV ads, right? This is the big one because this is who they want to connect with, right? And it's a very misleading TV ad and it's running day and night on all channels, right? So they're spending a ton of money. Slick Nick in the house. They're spending a ton of money running these misleading TV ads. And I think, at the end of the day, the Californians will vote. And the way the ads are set up is, hey, if you do not support the drivers, they will be out of a job. That's basically what the TV ad is about. It doesn't go into the specifics of 22, but you truly have to do the math on this one. I made a video a few days ago, or maybe it was even yesterday, and I was using Uber's numbers, the numbers that Uber pushed out based on 500 miles in the LA area, right? Based on a driver doing 20 hours of driving to complete 500 miles with a rider. This doesn't take into consideration all the dead miles, the waiting time, etc. So that is how Yes on 22 are presenting their numbers, and then also based on the fact that the Los Angeles minimum wage is $13 per hour. So we'll break that down versus the current law, what's right now, and understand with the current law, again, this is where California drivers are going to get such a rude awakening. California drivers right now are making money because of the multiplier. The multiplier was only brought in to counter AB5, to be a legal argument against AB5. Look, they're independent. They can create their own rates, right? That was one of the big things the states said, which they said that Uber and Lyft were misusing this word independent contractor because the drivers were not independent contractors. They could not set their own rates. They could not. They had to take the trips. They couldn't just decline them. So what Uber and Lyft did is, or at least Uber, they countered and said, look, we've brought out the multiplier. California drivers can decline those trips. And by the way, we have double standards. It doesn't apply for the other 49 states. That's the hypocritical part, right? So we are compliant. We're independent contractors, they said to the state. That was their answer to AB5. Now the multiplier, right? Somebody in this, Champy Segu's in the house. How are you? Someone, Ed Steigelmeier, happy Labor Day to you. Someone earlier here said, I think it was Monday Social Inc. said 5x all day this weekend. So he must have made bank. I had one guy send me the numbers for his week, $3,500. And you're only making this, listen to me, you're only making this thanks to the multiplier. So you go vote yes on 22, multiplier is gone, it's gone, right? And you're back to the real shitty Uber rates. And what are those? Let's do some math here, right? So what they are proposing, so the pay for mileage reimbursement, you have to compare it, right? They are proposing 30 cents per mile for pickups and on-trip miles only. For pickups and on-trip miles only. So when you use the calculation of 500 miles, right? 30 cents times 500 miles, that adds up to $150. Then they, as a counter argument to the state, to comply with the minimum hourly wage in LA, they say, okay, $13 an hour, Uber promises 120% of the minimum for picking up and trips only, trip time only. So they're only paying that for pickups and trip time only. And that would be, the 120 would be factor 1.2 multiplied by the 13 hours, multiplied by the $13, multiplied by the 20 hours it would take you on average to do 500 miles and of 500 hours of driving, and you'd get to 312. Well, you add those up, you get to $462. Now, let's look at the current law, the way it stands right now, right? What they are proposing, right? What the AB5 is proposing, what you would earn on that side. And that excludes all the money if you want to set your rates higher. It excludes all the additional multiplier money that goes on top of this calculation. So here they go back to this 58 cents per mile for all app on miles, every single app on mile. That would be 58 cents times the 500 miles driven, which are the pickup and trip miles, right? That would add to 290. Then 58 cents times 125 miles. I guess they're calculating the dead miles there. You get paid for that as well. $78.13, and it comes to $368. Now, on top of that, the $13 per hour for all app on time. The drivers average 60% occupancy. So 20 hours driven for pickup and trip time is 32 hours total time. That would be calculation of $13 per hour times 32 hours equals 416 plus 368 is 784. In the current proposal, you'd be earning $322 more. Now, what I think drivers think is very attractive about yes on 22. They do believe they are true independent contractors. Yeah, you are being treated semi like independent contractors right now because Uber has to come up with a legal counter argument, has to offer this multiplier, has to offer you the declining trips, right, in the answer to AB5. So right now, you are enjoying that driver space. But you will forego that when you are voting yes on 22. My argument is load the chips on this side, right? Don't want to become full-time employees, right? And just put the pressure on them so you come up with a better plan. And what I call the better plan is a gig hybrid plan, right? Dara Khosrowshahi calls this the third way. I don't call this the third way because I know that they can do much, much better. But you will not get a better deal. You will not get a better deal if they know that their $180 million, which they are spending, is working and they got you. They got your yes on 22. So all they have to do is go and manipulate enough drivers, right, with $180 million. And then they can control the show back to usual. And for those people that don't believe in these words, sucker for punishment, over the years, ask yourself how Uber and Lyft have treated you, right? Again and again and again and again, they have screwed over drivers. And you're honestly telling me, by backing their proposition, you think they're going to be different. Good luck. Good luck, right? I say, pound them. I say, put relentless pressure, right? Get no on 22 out as much as possible so we can cut an even better deal, right? We need a deal for all states, right? This is how we need to negotiate, right? Everyone should be able to set their rates, right? These are givens. Choose Uber, Lyft, DoorDash, whoever you want to drive with. Choose when you want to drive with, right? When you want to drive. Choose your rates. If you want to set high rates on a Friday or Saturday night and the rider's not willing to pay it, let them go with a taxi. But you need to be able to dictate your rates for all states. So this is why I always say I'm a firm believer of not giving up too early in the game. Insane pressure, more and more pressure, and get a better deal. You've got 60 days to get a better deal, man. Journey with Jordan, because if they lower rates, they allow for more trip volume, which is how they make the money. Precisely. Their formula is race to the bottom. And he's on the money. He's exactly right. Because with their lower rates, they allow for more trip volume. They're all about discounting and subsidizing the race to the bottom, the lowest fare possible. Mark my words, coming in November. For all of those, yes on 22, mark my words, you are basically going back to trip volume, pushing the rates down, and see what you're going to end up earning. All you're going to earn is maybe that minimum of $13 an hour, right? That's all you're going to earn on yes on 22. That's where you're going to stand. So right now, make the money while you can, because in November, they have you. Oh, there we have driver Steve's in the house. He says, I don't understand why Uber and Lyft are lowering their fares when they are making less by doing that. You know, because they have the money to subsidize it. JT's in the house. South Coast Ride, I want to give you a shout out. What's going on? No on 22. Thank you, Dara Troller. So they are lowering the fares, and this is back to what Journey with Jordan said, because they want to genuinely, as a monopoly, they're doing this together, right? Uber and Lyft are working in synchronicity here. Low to the bottom rates, the lowest of the lowest rates, right? Get as many riders on board with the apps, Uber and Lyft, and you know, dry out, literally kill the taxi industry, kill the shuttle industry, and then later on in the game, when all of these companies have gone bankrupt, right? You control, you have the monopoly, and it's a dangerous way. And Edward could tell you stories and stories about this. He knows exactly how they are playing this game, right? Alex Salas is in the house. He goes, no on Prop 22. I am all for putting relentless pressure on Uber and Lyft. We can get a way better deal, right? From the state and from the companies. But come November, they get a yes on 22. Boy, they will make sure we just get the absolute bare bottom minimum, that $13 an hour. They will manipulate this formula to make sure you basically are getting 120% of that $13 per hour, $13 times 1.2, right? That's their promise, right? And that's only on the actual trips when people are in your car. And you're not going to be able to expand onto it much further, because here you already see what they're offering, 30 cents per mile. The current formula is higher, is more than 30 cents. I am just so afraid that drivers are going to regret this. Uber and Lyft have always controlled your income. Now we have the opportunity to push back and fight for a way better deal. This ain't a deal, my friends, right? I tell you, because we fought back, because we have this AB5 on the table, because they are trying to show that they want to comply with independent contractor status, you have this multiplier. Speak to any California driver at the moment, and they'll tell you they are enjoying the multiplier. They are seeing big numbers that they've never, ever seen in 2019. Exactly. Rick Nelson says current formula is 80 cents per mile in LA. That's also atrocious. That's atrocious. And then they're coming with this. IQ Boy says, yes on 22. You will get screwed without Vaseline. You're funny. Alliance Drivers Unite says, JT, Drivers Unite is a solidarity union for tri-state area and nationwide. Check Facebook groups. Yeah, they're solid. I know Edward has been at all these rallies and strikes fighting for us. I mean, this is what you can call a true warrior, out there in 90, 100 degree Fahrenheit, battling it out, right? Educating people, putting in the hours, like we putting in the hours here. Ron Reagan says, good morning. How are you, Arch Time Gamer? Good to see you. You know, all I can say is don't give up so early in the game, right? And all I can say is, who wrote these laws? Who spent $110 million and another $80 million, a combined $180 million, $180 million to get this, to try and get yes on 22. I just can see the massive disappointment in drivers that think, oh, you know what, we want to be, that's what they've spoon-fed us, right? Yeah, you'll be an independent contractor. Away goes the multiplier. Away goes your chance to decline that trip. They'll basically force you back as the acceptance rate, low acceptance rate, you're out. So, okay. Driver Steve, will Uber Lyft deactivate me if they see that I voted yes on Prop 22? Can they see how I voted? No, they cannot see how you voted, right? That's confidential with the state. Has nothing to do with them. Wouldn't worry about that one way, you know. Ray the mailman, Uber driver, private trips are the way to go. I made 700 today from 8 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. round trip. Private client only did about 4 hours driving. There we go. That's where the money is. I agree with you. And thank you for sharing that, Ray. So the more California drivers can move towards true independence with their TCP, the happier I will be, because they will be really happy to see those type of rewards. Those numbers, that's what I'm accustomed to. Those numbers, that's what Ray is accustomed to, right? Vegas 888, that is a brilliant, brilliant question. Didn't the government screw this all up in the first place? Go pressure them. So, just like legislators want to see Amazon pay taxes, right? Amazon doesn't pay taxes on billions and billions and billions and billions and billions of dollars of profit because they hide all the money offshore, right? The country, the state wants to see some money, right? The state of California, some of the biggest companies, Apple, Google, and guess what? They're paying almost zero taxes because they're hiding all of their patents in offshore accounts, right? They're registered in Ireland, they're registered in Guernsey, they're registered in the Isle of Man, they're registered in Liechtenstein, in all of these offshore accounts. So they don't have to pay taxes in the United States. That's the first thing that has to change. So what California wanted to force Uber and Lyft to do is start paying some money in, right? Just like employers would start, and this all came about because there was no safety net in the pandemic. The state had to pay all the money into the safety net because of the pandemic. Uber and Lyft had paid nothing in, and the state was carrying the burden for all the people that were suffering from the pandemic or that were not driving or that were not out on the road. And that's 80-90% of the gig workers, right? So they were covering those costs, and they said, stop. We are not covering all these pandemic costs because you are not paying into the system. That's how it all came about, right? I mean, that's, sorry, I step back. That's not how it came about. That accelerated the whole matter. That accelerated their argument. Prior to that, they were just saying, well, Uber and Lyft are not paying anything into the system, right? Nothing. They're declaring loss after loss after loss, quarter to quarter to quarter, loss after loss. And we, the state of California, are not seeing any money from Uber and Lyft. So they started attacking them legally. What sped and accelerated the whole matter was then obviously the pandemic. Alliance, if you could chime in a little bit on the third way already exists. It's called statutory non-employee. Thank you for saying that. And Edward's more than welcome to call me, and I'll put his voice, if we can keep it down like 5 minutes or so, if you want to really, if anybody understands all the legalities, the ins and outs, and I have tremendous respect for him, tremendous, and that's Alliance, because he is so dialed in. He is so dialed into this. He's literally, his heart and his soul is fighting for the drivers. He genuinely sees that as his cause, even more than I do, right? I'm a voice for drivers. I completely want to represent the right, not the wrong. I'm all about facts, not theories. There he is. There he is. There he is. How are you, my brother? Happy Labor Day.
Same to you, my brother.
Awesome.
Appreciate what you're doing out there. Always, always, always on the front line. You were the first, my brother. You were the first who actually had the cojones to go all in on this. All the other folks out there, YouTubers, they just didn't have it. But you delivered just incredibly, and you continue to be consistent. And we really appreciate you.
Thank you.
Mr. Right, Professor Thorsten.
Thank you, my friend. And I can only mirror the compliment back because I got to meet you. I met you on the front lines in the trenches, and he is who he is. He's the real deal. So, the big problem here, Edward, is that I see, look, they've just added another $70 million. They're desperate, right? $180 million.
Right. They're saying that actually it's over 200 million.
It's a lot of money.
So that's what's on the books, but as far as what they spent and everything, they're saying combined it's over 200 million actually. So that's just the amount that they have to declare, from the legality standpoint.
Yeah.
But they already stated early on that they would spare no amount of money. Yeah. And why is it that they'll spend that kind of money to say know that AB5 doesn't apply to them. If it doesn't apply to you, then why are you spending that money? I mean, it's just common sense. Think about it.
Exactly.
So, but the reality is this, is we want real independent contractor status. That means setting your own rates, terms, and conditions.
Thank you.
Now, there's other drivers orgs out there that came in after we had been pushing. We started the conversation with Lorena Gonzalez way before AB5 was created, the concept.
Correct.
And we told them, look, other drivers orgs are complaining. Everyone else drivers are complaining about low pay, poor treatment. So yes, these are symptoms. What's the core problem? Misclassification of employment. If you fix that, then the symptoms are taken care of by default. Yep. And that's what we did. We pushed for misclassification of employment to be addressed, to make real independent contractors out of us. Not this fake stuff that Uber, Lyft, and these other companies offer that call us independent contractors but treat us worse than part-time minimum wage employees. They actually have more rights and protections than we do. So I mentioned earlier to you, there is a third classification that already exists, because when I hear what you're saying, it has me a little concerned, because the hybrid plays into the hands of what Uber, Lyft, and these other app-based companies want us to do.
Okay.
They promote this whole thing that, all these laws are antiquated. We need to get an update. We need to be on the forefront with new technology and a new way, the new school way of thinking. But don't believe the hype, because the classifications of independent contractor and full-time employment, if maintained, must be preserved, because these are the two pillars in the house of work, in the temple of work. And if you pull out one, you're going to undermine the other. Because ideally what they want to do is, these corporations are looking at what Uber and Lyft are doing, these other companies, and they're saying, well, look, they're calling their workers independent contractors, and they're getting away with murder.
Yes.
So let's do the same thing. Let's follow them too. So it really, if we do not fight to support the AB5, to support what it means to be a real independent contractor, which is really what AB5 is.
Correct.
It does not convert workers into employees. Do not believe the
exactly. Thank you. You got to. Can you really reiterate that, because that's the brainwashing that is taking place. They say, well, you're going to be a employee on a fixed hourly schedule. No, that's not the case. And then, by the way, I just want to throw in, Edward, before you carry on. When Dara talks about the third way, that's obviously his way. He would like to present it the third way. When I use I've always been using this term gig hybrid law, which I want to make very clear here is not the third way, right? What I say is, listen to all the factors that Edward brings up, right? The brainwashing, making people think that they're independent contractors when they're truly not. When you actually have the privileges of a true independent contractor and some privileges of the employee, right? Then that's what I call the very best of the best that we need to push for, the gig hybrid way, right? So I think the fear factoring is coming in, is that they are using this word.
That's what they use. And misdirection, redirection, they use every single trick in the book. I mean, they come straight out and lie, because really what they say is that they're saying, fight for independence, freedom, and independence. And anytime when you hear those types of words, they're trying to distract you emotionally from focus on this, a really important issue, rationally. And so that's why they're trying to provoke people. You're going to lose your freedom and your independent. How un-American. They're stealing it. No. The reality is, you are protecting your freedom and independence. And just addressing what you said with great clarity is this. AB5 only says what a real independent contractor is.
Correct.
It doesn't say what about this whole thing. It says this is a real independent contractor under AB5. You either fit or you must quit.
That's it. And here's a shout out from Driver Steve. He says it doesn't make business sense to pay a minimum wage on employees who sign on and off at will, right? I mean, can we? Where is he coming from? Are you making the argument?
All that stuff is just a bunch of misdirection and everything. Look, They cannot afford. The market is way oversaturated, or at least it was prior to COVID, right?
Yes.
Way oversaturated. They have way too many drivers. And the truth is, they cannot afford to have that many drivers. They already knew that in their S1 filing when they filed for their IPO with the stock market, Wall Street and everything. They had to declare that, existentially it was a threat if they had to convert their workers into employees. Well, here's a simple solution. Stop trying to control them like employees then.
Yeah.
Let them set their own rates, terms, and conditions.
Thank you.
Get your greedy hands out of the pockets of the workers. And that's not just Uber and Lyft, but all these other app-based companies too. And Uber owns Postmates now. So when you have Instacart and DoorDash and Postmates, now Postmates is underneath Uber. So, they're gobbling up all this delivery because that's their saving grace. I was on their Q2 call for investors, and they had a lot of bankers on there, and they were talking about, delivery since Dara has come on has been the saving grace now, and it's grown just as much as Uber had been at the time when Dara first came on to Uber. So they're really pushing heavy on delivery. Now, if you look at delivery is driving the mom and pop restaurants out of business.
Yeah.
And what they're doing is they're charging 30-40% for the deliveries.
Exactly.
And they're squeezing. This is on the growth.
Squeezing the restaurant.
Squeezing them out of the business. And right now, they are totally dependent on delivery. So a lot of these businesses they're going to go out, they're going to go under, and they're not coming back. That is killing the middle class, and that they're squeezing the middle class out of existence, and that's the working America. You want hopes and promises for immigrants and low-income minorities to raise themselves out of the need is through their own businesses, and they're being driven out. Because it's not just food, it's also other products and goods as well, that they want to deliver everything. They want to transport everything. They want to Uberize everything.
Correct.
So Uber is the tip of the snake. But getting back to the other thing, there is a third category that already exists. It's primarily for real estate agents. But it's a third category. It's called statutory non-employee.
Okay.
Look it up.
Statutory non-employee. Okay.
Yeah. So real estate agents, like in California, because I'm a broker still in California, licensed, have a degree in real estate too. So the statutory non-employee, you're still an independent contractor, but you receive the safety net coverage of workers' comp. So if something happens to you, you're protected. But they have to be hands-off. As a real estate agent, you set your own rates, terms, and conditions.
Correct. And can I stop you right there? When you're setting your own rates, terms, and conditions, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah. Right? Uber came out with this multiplier, obviously, to say, hey, you know what? We are in compliance. These are true independent contractors. Look, we're allowing them to set their rates. And now more than ever, I mean, I've been getting screenshots the last 3-4 weeks where people are actually making money, right? They're setting their own rates. They're making money, right? A lot of them are driving this. Well, it's a distraction. Yes, it is a distraction. But what I'm saying yes, it is. I completely agree. It's a distraction. But come November, if they get the yes on 22, people can kiss that multiplier goodbye. It's back they can kiss it goodbye.
Yes or no, because they're going to be pissed as hell when the Prop 22 doesn't pass, and they're going to yank it. People, that's a bait and switch. All they're trying to do is sweeten you guys up.
Absolutely.
Don't buy it for 1 second. Are they doing that in the rest of the states?
No.
No, it's because AB 5.
Thank you.
Basically, put their gonads in a vice and squeeze them, and they know it. And people that are throwing out this fear mongering and everything, saying, "Oh, they're going to leave California." They will not. This is in California, 2 of their major global markets, of the 5 markets that they have that are their top ones.
Yeah.
Okay, you got San Francisco, LA, in California, people.
Yeah.
Not to mention Silicon Valley. You got Sacramento. You got the South Bay. You've got also SoCal,
San Diego,
the OC, Orange County. I mean, it's like San Diego.
They'll never give that up.
No, we're the 6th largest economy in the world. That's California. They just spent several hundred millions of dollars on their new headquarters. We just did an action there in August, and it's right there connected to the Chase Arena where the Golden State Warriors play. They're connected there with Chase and everything. They're not going to spend. They consolidated all their office space and every other part of San Francisco to go into this new headquarters. That's like cost them several $100 million.
Exactly.
They're not going to do that with the thought of, oh, we're going to be leaving. No, that's just.
And that's where we have them. Excuse the expression. That's where we have them by the balls. That's where we have to play hardball because we know that they cannot give this market up. And I was just so upset to see them slip away once again through the court system and buy additional time. You know what I mean? To try and get to this.
They've got like in-house legal counsel. They've got like more than 100 attorneys.
Yeah,
brother. So those guys are on retainer. So what else do they have to do than to focus being like disrupting pieces of garbage?
Exactly.
And that's what they do. This is not a moral play. There's no ethics in here. It's like, they're feeling the squeeze now. This has been long time coming. Consequences for bad, horrendous corporate practices.
Thank you.
There will come a time when they have to pay, but we have to. You guys can't just sit back and think, oh, it's going to be handled like by Torsten or by people like myself. It's like, no, they want to see the numbers. When we do actions, we want people to show up. You don't even have to say anything. All you have to do is show up. They want to see bodies that show up there that say, you know what, we stand in solidarity. We're here as gig workers, as drivers, delivery, as essential workers. Don't forget how important a category of significance that we've been given presently by the administration as essential workers. And we need existential protections on the front line. That means we should be getting hazard pay. Yeah. We should be getting the protections in the workplace. Anyone touches us, verbally assaults us because we're practicing the use of the PPE, they are penalized, and it's criminal.
Hey, if you're looking into the stream, we got to slap down a silly comment, and this is where the rumors are spread. Journey with Jordan, when you have proof, then talk about it, right? But don't start these conspiracy theories. He says, Edward is a lobbyist for Rideshare Drivers United, I believe, right? This is what, this is like where...
That sounds just like Dara in their Q2 investor call. All their statements, they basically had a disclaimer at the beginning, and they said, statements like think, we believe, these are just statements that are not actually factual, but
exactly.
they are just what would you say, a projection of what we'd like to see happen.
Right.
So it's a way of saying, we might lie to you excessively, but it's okay because we're going to get away with it, and you can't hold us to anything that we're saying. So you're always going to have naysayers like this character that popped on. Look, we're the only group, nationally, internationally, that has stayed free of union control. They tried to control us. Right. We had meetings with Teamsters. We had meetings with SEIU. Now, you're talking about, this guy has us confused with Gig Workers Rising, Rideshare Drivers United.
Well, he tried to correct himself by saying someone was asking who Edwards was. I was just trying to help. But look, I understand where you're coming from, but it doesn't help when you put misinformation into a room. It's not what you believe. If you have the facts, Journey with Jordan, you present the facts. Otherwise, you create this toxic playground on social media by I believe, I think it must be like this.
I mean, don't misstate things, believe. It's speculation, and it seems like you're a troll for the corporation. And believe me, for a multi-billion-dollar multinational corporation, it's not far-fetched when people see that there's other individuals that they're going to come into the rooms and try to be disruptive. Well, now we're disrupting the disruptors, and we're giving them a taste of their own medicine. So why is it that we have meetings with New Jersey State Senate President Stephen Sweeney, and I did an op-ed that was printed for the NJ.com. And why is it that they're listening and they're doing worker misclassification bill? Why is it in Massachusetts, a group that we had started initially over there, they had gotten traction and everything, and they're doing things in the state of Massachusetts, and the Attorney General stepping up because they're looking at what's going on in California with our Attorney General, Javier Becerra, and he's making changes, and he's doing it in conjunction with other Attorney Generals for the different major cities in California, and they're all coming together. So why is that happening? Because these folks have actually been asleep at the wheel, pardon the pun, for some time. We have been telling them this needs to be addressed before it gets too big. When I had a meeting with one of the commissioners for the California Public Utilities Commission, and she was the only commissioner that was stepping up against what Uber was doing, but she only did partially. And I said, look, we need to go all the way in, and we need to go after Lyft too. And she understood. She said, but, you know, it's first steps and everything. But we don't have the luxury of time. Right now with COVID, they are ushering in AI, automation, self-driving, and digital currency like you guys couldn't believe. Yeah. 5G is the door opener. 5G increases connectivity between all of these areas that communicate with each other. The faster it is, the more efficient it is, the quicker it rolls out. In China, they're doing a lot of things that you guys don't know about. But China doesn't care about human rights issues. They'll just roll right over people. Yeah. And so that is the testing ground for a lot of things that are going on. Yeah. So here too, they're going after trucking first, to be honest. And the trucking, why? Because trucking has a bigger return on investment. The cargo that they carry, right? The goods and products that they carry, if they did not do their job, the shelves will go bare in a matter of days. Any place you go, matter of days. That's just how it is. So trucking is why Uber Freight, they set up shop in Chicago. They were there with Mayor Lightfoot and making deals and glad handing and everything else and stuff that's going on there. You know, they say, oh, we're going to spend $200 million more a year. So all this stuff, people, is all connected. Yeah. People, they all what does that have to do with that? Because it's all about driving. It's all about workers. It's all about workers' rights and the displacement of millions, if not billions, of workers, not just here in the U.S., we're talking globally. Yeah. All connected. If it wasn't for Uber having the global market, they would tank. Lyft is hurting bad. So Lyft is like the bastard stepchild here, but it's like the mini-me to Dr. Evil Uber. And they are, and yet they're out there saying, oh, we're going to leave California. Please don't let the door hit you in the ass on the way out. Yeah. Hey, okay. Quick question. Somebody says, who is Edward? Who does he work for? I know Edward works for himself. He doesn't work for anyone, you know. Yeah, I'm the founder of the Alliance for Independent Workers, and we also have Alliance for Essential Workers. We are founder funded, and we are drivers. We are gig workers. We are the real deal. It's as real as it gets with us. Yeah. So you guys want to step up your game? Yeah. Step up with us because we're on the cutting edge. We have no limitations of how far we could go. It's up to you guys. You want to come in? You have a great idea. Let's throw it out there. Let's go for it. Yes. But you run with it. Exactly. I love it. That's how empowering. That's empowering. We're not by committee. We're not by this and that. Oh, it has to have approval by the majority. No. We don't have the luxury of time for that, people. Yeah. We need to roll mean and lean. And you know what? That's how you get stuff done. Exactly. And then there's no union behind them or anything. Nope. Nothing. No. We collaborated with unions in the past, but we learned from our lessons that, look, unions can be a powerful tool, yes. But unions are not the solution. Yep. The union is not the solution. So when you see these other orgs that are out there saying, $15 minimum wage and a path to a union, why? Yeah. Why? The unions have been around for so long for who? And what have they done? Like the essential workers, the nurses, they couldn't even come out and give them PPE, for Christ's sakes. These guys pay member dues. Yeah. Throw them some masks. Thank you. Something. Yes. And they don't. Yeah. There's no excuse, people. No excuse. So what we want to do, we'd like to have the unions get back to the core reason for their existence, and that's to help workers to have a better lifestyle, and for Americans to hopefully succeed and not just barely survive. People, these are precarious workers now.
Correct.
Or that precarious worker, you're right on the edge of that cliff, and that any strong wind is going to blow you right over, and you're done.
Yeah.
And with essential workers, you're being driven to what? Go into the grave? Either come out and work, or stay at home and die, or come out and work and possibly catch COVID. If you have an underlying health issue, they might push you over the edge too. It's more than just financially precarious. A lot of people are physically precarious as well. Combine those two. Where is your safety net, people? Non-existent. So if we're real independent contractors, we set our own rates, terms, and conditions. Guess what? We make a lot more money because we set the money that we need to pay for our own health care, for our own coverage, for our own ability to succeed. And once again, not just barely survive. It's not acceptable. They're practicing third world practices here in the first world. And guess what? At the end of the day, who's responsible? Us. Right. Because we allowed it. If it happened initially, that's one thing. We're already talking more than 10 years now this has been going on.
Exactly.
We've been sounding the alarm, doing the Paul Revere for some time. Where are you guys people at? I mean, I know they have a high attrition rate and high churn rate, but still, as soon as you find out about this, you need to step up.
Yep, I agree.
Step up.
Good. Hey, I got to cut you short. I always love having Edward on the show here. I got to pick up my son a pounded hard all the way through till November, and push the message loud and clear what's really going on here. Thank you so much for participating. And then there's a few people here that are asking where is, like, how can they get to your link? And maybe you could just drop it in there for the people right now so that people can jump over and
on
then.
Facebook, #Drivers Unite. You'll see all our links pop up. #Drivers Unite.
#Drivers Unite.
Essential Workers Unite. It's all rolled together. #Drivers Unite on Facebook. #Essential Workers Unite. And we have a big action that we're doing at Dallas City Hall, September 19th.
Awesome.
So any people that are out in the area of DFW and Texas, please come out and support.
Cool.
Because this is cross collaboration across different industries. Because we need existential protection for essential workers that are on the front line.
Awesome.
So everyone, thank you for your support.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you. I appreciate you.
Lots of love, and we're there, onward and upward, everyone.
Thank you, buddy. Have a good one. Have a happy Labor Day. Enjoy.
Thank you.
Stay safe.
Thank you.
Thank you. Labor Day. All right, my friends, you heard Edward. There he is. He said #Drivers Unite. You look that up, you'll come across them. And he's a true warrior. He's the real deal. Okay. And again, just go out, educate yourselves, understand that, and Journey with Jordan, we cool. We just don't want to, we want to rather ask Edward, hey, who are you? Tell us who you are, versus thinking who he is and putting it there. That's how these falsehoods and rumors and conspiracy theories start, right? So let's get the real facts. We're all about real facts in this channel. Huge thank you to Edward. And we got to push people towards true independent contractor status, not what they make you believe, right? A true independent contractor gets to set their rates, and there's tons of other good privileges. We're not there yet. We're not there yet. So don't drink the Kool-Aid on yes on 22. We're not yet there yet. We got to keep on fighting, right? Much love, Journey with Jordan. You know me. I'm just very direct. I just wanted to nip that right in the butt and make sure that people don't run off and start spreading stories about Edward. He is who he is. He's clarified very, very clearly. He's a great speaker. Who he is, what he stands for, where he's going, what he's pushing, how he's fighting. Very, very clear in his language, as am I. I wish you all an amazing Labor Day. Stay safe out there. Barbecue, have those tomahawk steaks, those ribeye steaks, those whatever you can put on the barbecue. Have an amazing meal. And please take care of your health, your safety, and Let's keep on educating ourselves, and let's keep on supporting each other. South Coast Ride, Ron Reagan, Jimmy Abstract Echo, Journey with Jordan, Shine 55, Texas. Texas in the house. Thank you, Shine 55. And Sherelle, thank you, Sherelle is also in the house, as well as all the other names that I haven't called out. I appreciate you. Happy Monday, everyone. Thank you.